Okay, let's see here. Okay, alright, then that's good, that's good. I hear myself on YouTube. Let's check Twitch. I can just open it properly, Jesus. Alright, testing. I hear myself on YouTube. Let's check. Alright, I hear myself. Perfect. Okay. Alright. Sorry everyone. I would start at 9, but apparently OBS, or there was a driver's update. So that's why I'm 16 minutes late. Anyways, welcome to the VOD. Anyways, welcome to the stream. Well, I say VOD because I'm pretty sure most people aren't going to be watching the VOD. Aren't going to be watching the VOD more than actually watching the stream. And let's see. Anyways, we're just once again we're back to writing. Mostly because I don't want to. I don't know what game to play, and also, or at least that wouldn't lag. I mean, I guess I could play. I could play a Boiling Bound. I'm still just, if anything, I'm just like slowly grinding on that game. But yeah. Well, not, well, yeah, I'm reaching end game content soon. But if anything, I'm first building my team up because I'm just essentially just trying to max out on the character, on the, each of the Voidlings to get a full customized roster. But anyways, going back to, actually, coming back to topic, which is writing for Hidden Class Jolt. We are currently on chapter 6. We are currently writing a small bit, a small, we are currently in, I guess a different point of, a quick insert, a story, or side story. Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but basically just a switch of perspective, essentially. I don't know what's the correct word for it. Like, it's not like a new chapter, like, it's still like in the same chapter, you know? Sorry, I think I'm thirsty. Anyways, we're currently just catching up on how people are, essentially what we've written so far is we're currently catching up on people on their reactions to the full 50th floor report of the Blue Tower. And right now we are just being uh we are once again seeing Sun Yun Kyun, who is the guild master of the Moonblade Guild in Korea. If you recall, she was, well, you probably don't remember because, well, unless you read my story, then you would know. But then again, I did only introduced her a similar. Only really, she's only been seen in 1.5 chapters, and basically, what she just to give you an idea what she looks like. She is, how do I say this? Well, she's a princely tomboy, I guess, or like her. She she is ascendant and looks essentially like a very handsome, like, I guess, like, yeah, essentially a tomboy. But yeah, well, like in terms of she's very stoic. She's just she, I don't know how, I'm so bad at trying to describe her because I'm still also working on the character too. But for the most part, she is, what is to be known about her is she is a battle mage that uses a spear and magic, and she is the leader of the Moonblade Guild. And as of right now, she is currently just on a normal daily jog before she is contacted by her second in command, by the name of, what did I call her? Was it, okay, Gia? That's, what's her full name? Kim Gia. That's what it was. It's right there. I'm blind. He's just been contacted by Kim Ji because sorry about that. My uh, sorry, I was just being sorry. I was slightly distracted by my dad. My dad just came in to ask me about stuff. Don't worry about that. But okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, she's current. Just a quick recap. She's currently being Sun Young Kun just been contacted by her second in command, and basically saying, "Hey, the TAA, which is the Tower Ascendant Association, which is basically the and just to give you a quick rundown, it's like essentially it's what the Hunter Association is in Solo Leveling if you've seen it, but essentially, but if you've never seen Solo Leveling, then it's basically like a kind of like like partial government a area, like they basically work directly with the government. They're not part of any guild. They kind of just they connect to every guild, other guild, essentially. Like the middleman between the government and the guilds run by the Ascendants. Because the Ascendants, for the most part, are independent. Well, independent as in, but like, of course, I'm not going to get into the gritty details, but basically, like essential. But yeah, basically, TAA is essentially a government funded uh guild, essentially. Like and like I guess like a fantasy is like would be the actual guild itself, like a group essentially, like run. Yeah, just basically the government, semi-government. I'm just repeating my shitty fucking comments. Oh my god. Okay, I just okay. Essentially, Moonblade Guild is independent. Basically, Sun Young Kyun basically runs it like it's like a. It would be like, but yeah, it's like an indie developer, I guess, in like video game terms. It would be an indie developer or like an indie group. TAA essentially is the publisher, essentially, and that is would be like the essential publisher. Like like every guild is essentially an indie developer, while the TAA essentially is the publisher. Basically, the guys like semi call the shots, but basically they just work together. It's like a mutual. It's like mutual. They don't hold too much power, but they do have. But they do like but they kind of handle like all the. I guess they handle a lot of paperwork in comparison to the other individual. Uh, in comparison to the guilds. But anyways, but yeah, essentially, TAA is the government guild, essentially, and every other guild is essentially independent in a sense. And of course, I'm stretching the name independent because, of course, some are funded, blah blah blah. But you get the point. They're not like complete. They don't have like government. No government. There's no government control over these guilds. Essentially, they are, or not. Well, you not like that, but you get the point. It's like yeah, basically company, government, blah blah blah. Anyways, they are just right now, and then I'm just, but yeah, right now it's Sun Young Kyun and her second in command are just Sun Young Kyun just got back. I'm butchering the name. I'm sorry. I wrote it down myself, and I can't even pronounce it. This shows you. This is. I am just a fan of Korean manhwas. I am not Korean in remotely. I don't speak Korean. That may change sooner or later, but what if I ever actually put in the time and effort to actually learn Korean? But point is, she just got back, and they're about to meet up with the TAA representative who is there to give a request. Okay, we're caught up. I'm gonna stop talking dumb shit and repeating myself. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue now. Okay. Let's see. Both guild leaders and vice guild. Both guild leader and vice guild leader enter. Yeah, I'm just gonna. There's no. Just gonna write as the both of them, just to save the mouthful. As the both of them enter the building, they are greeted and respected by all members, both ascendants and clerks alike. Yeah, the reason why I have clerks as members is because, someone's got to do the paperwork, someone's got to do the office jobs that, like, type in the reports, type in whatever, fill in the paperwork, blah, yada, yada, yada. Of course, like, guild leaders will get the final call, but you get the point. They were basically like, filling in the shitty part that like no the Senate don't want to do. But yeah, like basically, hey, we are going blank blank blank. Just just the normal paperwork stuff, just to avoid trouble. Yada yada yada, visas, bull, whatever. Just like traveling in general. The guys that essentially clerks. The clerks are the middleman. It's like if the TAA is the middleman between the government and ascendants, then the clerks are the middleman between a guilds and the TAA, essentially. But yeah, all of them, most and not all guilds have like at least some clerk positions or office positions. Yeah, I'm just gonna instead of clerks, I think as much as I like the it was as much as I want to use it, I'm gonna use office workers just to make it easier. I I don't know. Clerks doesn't sound right. I don't know why. Because when I think of clerk, I think of store. You know what I mean? And guilds aren't really stores, so yeah. Okay, so both outsiders and office workers alike. They make their way into Kyun's office. Kyun's office. Where they are greeted by a business by a businessman. Businessman. No, I'm just gonna by the TAA representative in a suit. Greetings. Greetings. Guild leader. I hit the cast button like an idiot. Guild leader. Dun, dun, kill. Hello. Yeah, hold on. Gotta show respect to Vice. Just so you Vice Guild Leader. And I hit the wrong button again. Jesus, I have friggin' fat fingers. Vice Guild Leaders. Kimchi. Kimchi. Hello. Greetings. Greetings, Mr. Hmm. You know, I'm just gonna leave him nameless. He's not that important. I was gonna name him, but I was like, you know, that's too much of a. Yeah, I was naming Mr. Lee, but frick it. No. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna leave him. I'm just gonna leave him. It's not. It's not. He's not that important. He's just simple. He just ex. He's just exposition. All three quickly sat quickly sat down and began the discussion. What is the TAA's request? As you know, well, it isn't exactly a. Well, it isn't exactly a request. More like an update. What do you mean? Well, you see. Well, you see, there. Not what else you know. Besides the besides the guild ascendants going going and besides hold on, challenging, conquering floors. Ascendants Ascendants have been asked to also perform rescue missions. Perform search and rescue operation operations. I'm just gonna continue. I am here to ask if you will. Wait, no. Then why didn't you? Why didn't you just send it? Send it over as usual. When you send over email as usual. Actually, yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. It will sound too weird. No, call over the talk over the phone. And you just call like usual. That's probably it. Mm. Why don't you call like usual? Why don't you just call like usual? Actually, you know what? Hmm. Why don't you well, it would be easier. Well, you see the list of missing people has been updated. And would take actually not actually let's see. This concern this concerns classified info. This concern classified information. We are trying to this revelation immediately caught the attention of the two leaders. How so? We have discovered a new tower. In order we would like we discovered a new tower. It had been in a remote area. Had been in a remote continent and was discovered by accident by researchers. I need It was discovered by accident by researchers. Its color also matched with its environment, which made it more difficult to spot. Made it more difficult to spot. A new tower. This was big news. Actually, hmm. Hmm. Actually, let me change. Hmm. Hold on. Do I want it to be discovered like this? God dang it. this is what happens when like hmm. Hold on, I need to rework this. I might need to rework this. Look at this. How do I make it feel more natural? Actually, no. I'm forgetting. I will. You know what? Forget this part. I'm just gonna remove it. Forget. Yeah, forget this part. This part will. We had another. We had another jumper incident. Yeah. As we all know. As we all know, we're trying to keep this knowledge possibility on the down low. This knowledge and possibility contained as many jumpers will likely end up. Yeah, so for so just to like explain this, because I'm pretty sure no, unless you read the book, you will know what a jumper is. But essentially, what a jumper is well, to explain that what a jumper is. So how people be so in my story, the hunters like in solo leveling, or just like the people who can become stronger, like or people who can enter the towers, they are known as ascendants because they ascend the tower. You get it. And usually they and basically these people are chosen at random, or essentially yeah, chosen by at random by the towers, because essentially the tower just runs essentially an algorithm that basically picks and chooses people and basically will warp them via a wormhole into the towers. And when they're taken into the tower, these people will then go through what is known as the ascension, which is basically the transformation. And essentially, the ascension will and basically the system is all of this is controlled by the system, which is basically what creates the whole gamified stats and stuff, like in solo leveling or just like in any game, like you can see your stat spread essentially. And it's just known as the system. The system basically will choose people at random, but when they choose those people, it will then basically look look into their history, look into like essentially what they're good at, what they're not, what they like, what they don't, blah blah blah. Basically, a lot of research has been developed or put into these random people, and that's what gives them like basically the perfect or perfect in parentheses like starting class. or starting stats. And basically it's like, oh, you're good, or it's like basically imagine basically like a jock get, or like some athletic person gets like a fighter class, or like some person who's smart gets like a mage, or basically based on your real life abilities, you get a class based on that. Of course, then you level up, then you can just add stats, blah blah blah. Although, then again, I don't know. It is that is the part that I'm wondering what I should do. Is should I control that deeply, or like if they level up, then like automatically blah blah blah. But then again, yeah, no, I'm just gonna let them choose because level up, you get skill points, you put them in stat points, skill points, blah blah blah, add it to your character, or like that, like upgrade, blah blah blah, level up, same thing. Of course, like this is just the starting class. You could like look at Dark Souls. You know how like you have a starting class, but it's really just your starting stats, and then like you can basically like, oh, I'm just gonna build, like if you pick the strength character, you can still build into Dex or something like that. It's not like recommended, but like you can still do that, if you feel more inclined to, you know what I mean? And that's basically how the ascendant level up system works. But for Jun for Sun Junwoo and every other jumper, because they're labeled a jumper, or like it's called a jumper because they basically jumped into the portal that's meant for someone else. Like it's a one-way portal for one person, and like what for like a person, like blah blah blah. And if they go into that, if they jump into the portal or wormhole, blah blah blah. I think I labeled it a wormhole, but basically that wormhole is meant for was supposed to be meant for someone else. So imagine like you basically logging in into another person's account slash you going into a club with a fake ID or something, essentially another person's ID, and basically the system not basically essentially glitches out because basically some person other than the intended target is now warped into the tower, and because basically, excuse me, and because basically now all the information doesn't match up at all now. It's basically like it's just basically a massive error and glitch, and that basically causes those people who are trying to uh essentially become ascendants on purpose to essentially end up dead because they will most likely, unless you're lucky, you will likely end up on a different floor other than the first. And if you're and depending on how dangerous it can be really bad. Essentially, you could maybe survive if you're lucky that like another ascendant group is there. You can get rescued, but if you're really but if you're but like basically it's either you get rescued or you get killed. But like there is the secret third option, which is that a jumper can become an ascendant if they prove themselves that they can become an ascendant. And usually and essentially that's proof is that they have to defeat a boss. And the key word is defeat. Basically, they have to beat a boss. They don't have to kill it. They have to at least basically it has to be accept the boss has to accept a loss essentially. So like what happened with Shin Jun Woo, our main character, he was a jumper. Not on he didn't want to be a jumper. He didn't even know if it was possible. He basically just jumped in because he was trying to keep a kid from getting sucked in. Because this a kid was chosen, and most likely he would have died. Or yeah, yada yada yada. Or he basically wouldn't survive. So he gets chosen, or he didn't get chosen. He jumps in. He becomes a jumper. It's a jumper incident. He then lands in the 20th floor, and this is where basically he fights off a boss called the thousand legs cobra, which is basically a centipede and a centipede and a cobra mixed together. So imagine King Centipede or Emperor Centipede from One Punch Man. You know, the giant centipede monster that looks freaking rad. Imagine that essentially just without the human face and stuff. So they fight, but he was more in support role because he wasn't fighting, but essentially, but he because he was part of the fight and he landed the defeating blow. He didn't kill it. He was able to drive it off. He by using essentially a improv uh, an IED, an improvised explosive device with the propane. By essentially baiting the cobra to attack him, he dodges. The cobra basically hits the propane tank. It blows up, injuring the cobra, which causes it to retreat. And because it's retreating, it counts as a loss. So he is now, or at least it will be counted as a loss. And because of that, he now has, he now is able to become an ascendant. But anyways, that is essentially what a jumper is. Is jumper, but yeah, TLDR jumpers are basically normal people who try to become an ascendant on purpose by stealing another ascendant, a by basically stealing a wormhole, and they basically end up paying for it by basically having to survive as a normal human being on a floor with like basically the luck, like basically it's all down to the luck of the gods. Or like imagine being a level, like you don't even get, like jumpers don't get any ascension abilities. They are just basically normal people trapped on the floor now. They don't even get the ascension, which is basically essentially needed to survive. And not to mention they're also on the first floor, but like if you're for the most part they're not on the first floor. So they're already behind in terms of power. But anyways, but yeah, so basically you you might survive if you're lucky, but there's a lot of chances you might die. Shinju was stupid lucky. I'll say that much. He is basically lucky because he had help to survive. That is basically the truth of it. He was very fortunate to find his two companions. He was able to befriend two companions off the bat, and that were able to help protect him and keep him safe and stuff like that. But anyways, we back to the moment. TA and basically because jumper incidents are basically most likely like imagine like how do I say this? Because basically because like a jumper incident is like a 1 in a million chance to for a person to live, or a 1 in 100 chance, but you get the point. Because they can happen. It's like an accident essentially. And but basically the TAA is trying to keep it on the down low, so that way like it basically prevents people from doing it. You know what I mean? It's like it happens, like whether on purpose or on accident. They want to keep the TAA wants to basically keep this information on the down low for because if people know that they can do this, a lot more people will try to do this. But then that will essentially mean a lot of people will end up dead. you know, because people want, I mean, like, of course, people are going to want that fame. They're going to want that power. They think it's going to be, they think they just thought that, hey, why don't I just steal one? But then they don't realize what the consequences of it are. And then they basically get effed, or they're basically going to end up getting killed on the floor they're on. So basically, TAA is basically making sure that we do not let this out, or we do not spread this information, because we want this information locked tight. Because no, if people know, because if people know about it, people will try it. So that's what they're trying to do, is keep it. That's what this incident is basically about. Is they want to basically, it's like this TA's guy's like, hey, we found it. We got another incident, jumper incident, and I don't want to talk on the phone because possibility of getting leaking, blah blah blah, and also just to keep this information down to minimal as possible. But yeah, the mm, conversation went silent as all three knew where this knew what this meant. That's we haven't. As all three knew what this meant. As you know, we're trying to keep this knowledge, this impossibility confidential. That's the word. Good thing. Confidential. As many jumpers, as many people will likely end up dead. What he meant by this is simple. If people knew they could enter by jumping in another portal, in another in a chosen portal, there will be people willing to try to steal and gain the potential stardom, fame, and gain the potential fame, riches, and power. Not realizing the sheer consequences. Yeah, actually, no, I'm just gonna keep. Because I'm pretty sure I already. Hold on. Before I do write this part, I think I already actually written this part. I'm dumb. Indeed. Indeed. The two, actually not the two of them. The two guild leaders. The two ascendants can only agree. Only agree. Both have done search and rescue operations and have found nothing but remains these jumpers. On nothing but remains of these jumpers. Was that done? Yeah, remains of these jumpers. They have found survivors, but not many. Survivors, but very few in comparison. Both. Yeah, let's see. Just redo this because, goddamn it, it just sounds like a run-on sentence. The two ascendants can only agree. Both have found surviving jumpers, but very few in comparison to the amount. Compared to the amount that didn't make it. Amount that didn't make it. But very few in comparison to the amount that didn't make it. From the reports, many of them have been expendable. Have been accidental or simply claim not, or may have just claimed to be. Claimed to be. May I just claim to be not admitting their faults. Here's and here's a updated list. Here's an updated list of the here's a updated list. A list. Okay, goddamn, I don't know what. Okay, so let's see. What will he say here? Here's an yeah, here's an updated list from last. Here's an list of jumpers from the from last month. Of missing people from last month. Any sign of them whether dead or alive is acceptable. Which sounds pretty cruel, but I mean, like, it is what it is, you know. Gotta cross that name off the list somehow, unfortunately. Which is kind of scary, honestly. Damn it, how do I God damn it. I don't know how to continue the conversation, that's a problem. Because honestly, if anything, I wrote myself into a corner with this part, honestly. And I don't really exactly want to remove this whole part. We should do. Should I have them talk about jumper? What would? God damn it! I wrote myself in the corner with this TAA guy. God damn it! Damn it. 'Cause I'm trying to drive the plot forward, but without like, 'cause there's a spoil. I don't want to spoil anything, you know. And also, I feel like it'll be. Hmm, I want to push. You know, it's like I'm having an issue with pushing the plot forward without spoiling or giving too big of a hint of what will happen in the future. You know what I mean? That's the problem right now. I'm stuck writing because I am trash at writing. Okay, let's see. How do I do this? How do I do this? Because the worst part is I do not want to rewrite this whole freaking part because I wanted to add an insert here. How do I do this? What's the problem? How do I do this? How do I do this? Hmm. Okay, what would? Yeah, I'm just gonna remove that part. I'm just gonna remove the because I want to avoid this part for a moment. Let's see. What else could the TA want in person? I want to do this. I want to. You know what? I'm just going back to the original idea. Instead of just looking for a person, we we we've discovered a new tower. Let's go back to the original part. Discovered a new tower because I mean I already hinted of it earlier. Caught the two caught the immediate attention of the two leaders. A new tower was big news. New tower was big news. The undiscovered undiscovered floors and new possibilities were intriguing for any ascendant. For any ascendant. New riches new riches, resources, and new possibilities were intriguing for any ascendant. The representative continued with a continued. Well, let me just take a drink. Okay. It was discovered in Ant in Art in Art in Antarctica. I cannot talk. Antarctica. Antarctica. By by net by researchers surveying surveying the marine life there. I backspace too. I control Z too much. By the marine life there. The tower is also white, making it blend in with, excuse me, blend in with the snow. The snowy terrain. As we discovered it, as what is likely as it's it is likely as it is likely a new tower by the J.A.A. is sending an early yeah, this confidential. I think it's ruined. Confidential information. Sending early requests to the top guilds. I gotta lift with the means and power to to make first contact. Although I guess A new tower in a vastly remote location. Notifying top guild of the means to make first contact. Hmm. Make first contact and to avoid uncertainties. Uncertainties. To avoid uncertainty. Okay. Alright, hold on. I might I just gotta remove this confidential information. This I'm gonna remove this line because I don't really think it's hard to make this confidential when like yeah it's a new tower, but also not to mention it's in Antarctica, which is basically filled with nothing but snow, with no one lives in Antarctica except for researchers who stay there for a bit. If I'm correct. I'm pretty sure there's only marine life there, if I'm correct. Does anyone live in? I'm pretty sure no one lives in Antarctica. No, there are no natives or no permanent residents in Antarctica. It's the only continent with no indigenous population or without cities or towns. However, there is a temporary fluctuating population of scientists, researchers, and support staff who live there on temporary contracts, often ranging from 3 to 15 months. Yeah. Yeah, basically just scientists, people, just scientists, people researching. There's no one living there, legitimately. Yeah. Why do you just call it unusual? Well, you see, please remove this. Right. Hmm. Excuse me. If I'm not sure if it's actually going through or not, but hopefully it isn't. My burps. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's just reread this because I'm just removing the stupid. Yeah, this is classified information part, and also just like anything related to the jumper incident. Because right now they're what they're caring about is that there's a new tower. Let's see. What's it to it? But is it? It is exactly more like an update. What do you mean? We discovered a new tower. This is a revelation caught the attention of the two leaders. A new tower has big news. New resources, and new possibilities were intriguing for any ascendant. Representative continued. It was discovered in Antarctica by researchers surveying marine life there. Tower is also white, making it blend in with the snowy terrain. This is likely a new tower is notifying the top guilds with the means. No, no, ahead of time to make first contact and to avoid uncertainties. Uncertainty. Uncertainties. Yes. Yes. We as we yes. Yeah. Make it blend with the tower is more. Well, like mm. God damn it, this is such a God damn it. Oh, I need to rework this conversation. It's so bad. It just doesn't flow right, or it just feels stupid. I don't like how it's flowing. Because I'm changing so many things. It's like a pain in the ass. This is such an improduct. Oh, hey, Matt. Thanks for coming by again. Unfortunately, I think you just left, if I'm correct. I don't know. Maybe you're still here. I don't know. Oh yeah, right now I'm in and I'm stuck in a I'm in a writer's block at the moment because I don't know. I wrote myself into a hole at the moment with this stupid part because essentially I've just been reworking just what the representative is here for, or why is he here in person, blah blah blah. Because right now it's like a pain because I don't know, I wrote myself into a hole right now. Or at least I wrote into a hole and then I'm just trying to rework it so that way it flows properly in like an actual conversation without sounding because I just keep freaking moving stuff around. I keep changing stuff and then I forget to change other stuff. Now it's just like a really bad conversation. Like the problem is I'm doing is that I think I don't I should be rewriting the whole I don't well at least I really should be, but I just don't want to because I'm lazy. And now I'm stuck a bit. I have something. You know what? I know what to do. I have something I'm gonna show you. There's something I'm gonna show you. The representative opened his new opened his new laptop. Not his new laptop. He opened his laptop before facing it towards the or facing it towards Eon Chun and, and Engia. On the screen. On the screen there on the screen was a picture of a snowy terrain. Snowy terrain. Was a picture of snowy terrain, yeah. Before facing it. On the screen was a picture of snowy terrain. At first both were confused. Both were confused. Was a video snowy terrain. What is this? Is this? Keep watching. Snowy terrain being filmed. person video kept going as the person filming kept looking forward. It was then they saw it. Both of them has looked up to confirm, looked up to the representative, and he confirms it. Both of them looked up to the representative, and he confirms it. To the representative, and he confirms it. We discovered a new tower. It was discovered in Antarctica. Let's see, caught the attention of 2 leaders. New tower was big news. New riches, new resources. Not big news. New riches, new resources, and new possibilities were intriguing for any ascendant. The representative continues. It was discovered in Antarctica by researchers surveying marine life there. The tower is also white, making it blend in with the snowy terrain. As of yet, no one has stepped out of the tower. As of yet, no one has stepped out of the tower. Why are you telling us first? The GAA has made the decision to notify only the top guilds first to avoid uncertainties. As for Certainties. To avoid uncertainties. The existence of the tower will be announced much later. Later to the public. Uncertainties. To test. To see if the based the wildlife there see the possible dangers danger fill out let's see how do I how to word this. Let's see uncertainties. Let's see. What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? Will be announced much later to the public. Okay, so uncertainties. All towers have different difficulties. All towers are all towers have different difficulties regardless of different base difficulties. Regardless of floor and level. I believe we will we believe that sending out top sending out the top brass first is the safest option. We do not want a no, want another let's see. You do not want another incident like the. Let's see, what should I call it? What should I call it? Mm. You, oh, I need a good name. I need a good name. Let's see. Because essentially, well, I'm gonna write it down anyways. But basically, this guild is the guild that got massacred essentially at a different tower. Let's see. What should I call them? What should I call them? What's a good? What would be a good name that will stick in the packet? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. What's a good name? Because essentially, this is gonna be. Well, this is gonna be. I just don't know what to call it, but basically, this is just this is basically a name for a guild that would be because it'd be like the name of the guild incident, which is basically because this guild. Well, I'm gonna write it down later, so it's not spoilers. I'm gonna write it down now, actually. But essentially, this guild is a mid-level guild that got that had basically most of its descendants killed. Like in like a tower, like a new tower that was another new tower that was discovered like 3 years ago. I'm probably gonna make it the yeah, I'll probably make it the Black Tower just because there's. I mean, come on, that's like the obvious choice. Actually, no, I might make it. Should I make it the Red Tower or Black Tower? What should I call it? I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, let's see. What's a good name? What's a good name? What's a good? What's a good name? What's a good placeholder name? What's a placeholder name? What's a good placeholder name? Mm, no, I just put placeholder name for now. I'm not publishing this just yet, so placeholder. The two leaders were missed. remembering the story. Remembering the incident. Remembering the terrifying incident. Remembering different things. 2 years ago. And a mid-level guild. But by the name of placeholder. Challenge a newly discovered tower at the time. Challenge a newly discovered tower at the time. After failing to report back, the J.O.A.T sent in top level guild. Sent in top level to stage a possible rescue mission. Upon entering and searching the tower, they came across in Searching. Searching for the guild. A large, I'll make it a large mid-level guild. Upon entering the guild and searching for them. Upon entering the tower and searching for the guild, they found other guilds. Sent in other guilds to stage a possible rescue mission. Upon entering the tower and searching for the guild, they found only They found only the remains of remains. They found nothing but remains. Nothing but the remains of placeholder. Remains of the placeholder of placeholder guild. It's like it's kind of the seriousness part is kind of ruined because I'm just using placeholder at the moment because I can't think of a good name. But I'm not gonna explain how it looks. Besides the fact that they just found like corpses, on corpses. GTA would then label the town. The tower is black as darkness, fitting of its info. its structure. Its color black. Perfectly fitting for what's to come. Fitting for what's to come. On the lower floors. The terrifying bit. Terrifying part was it was only the second floor. And was able to overwhelm a guild made of level 20s, 20s, above level 20s. What should be a good name? You know what Bloodgrave it is. This color black, perfect. Black as darkness. After failing to report back, the TA sent another guild to stage a possible rescue mission. Upon entering the tower and searching for the guild, they found nothing but the remains of the guild. Upon entering the what many ascendants thought would be a long search found a more terrifying discovery. but the remains of guild found on the second floor. Second floor. Hmm. Honestly, floor. Altogether. Not a single survivor. Upon entering the tower, many assailants thought would be a long search would found a more terrifying discovery. Found a more ter- The remains of the guild were found on the second floor. Altogether, not a single survivor. This is like Bloodgrave. The name of the guild was Bloodgrave. Hmm. Actually, no, let's make it towards the beginning. At the during the first year. during the first year. A large mid-level during the first year of Ascendance. Ascendance appearing. The largest guild. Largest mid-level guild at the time. Knowledge I newly discovered. The largest mid-level guild at the time challenged no, I'm just gonna be mid-level. At the time challenge I newly discovered tower at newly discovered tower is color black as darkness. After failing to report back, the TAA sent in other guilds to stage a possible rescue mission. Upon entering the tower, what many ascendants thought would be a long search found an even more terrifying discovery. The remains of the guild were found on the second floor. Altogether, not a single survivor. The name of the guild was Bloodgrave. I'm gonna need to workshop that last line, but yeah. But you know what? My brain is my brain's not working today. Not as well as I thought. I did not write much at all, unfortunately. Oh boy. So much for the 2 hours. All right. I think I'll just stop it there because unfortunately my brain is not working. I'm not feeling it today. I mean, I did get something down, but not too much down, unfortunately. So, anyways, thank you for sticking along with this live stream or with this VOD. Um, follow me on Twitch at Rocky Tells, and like and subscribe on YouTube at Rocky Tells Production. You will, if you are interested in my book, please head over to royalroad.com and you can read if you're interested in the book, you can read it at royalroad.com. The first 5 chapters are published and released, so you can read it there at Rocket Tales Production. And there's a link in the description. You can head there yourself. But right, but yeah, first 5 chapters are published and released, so you can read them there. And I believe that's it. I will see, and we'll probably continue. We will continue writing on Friday, and Wednesdays will. Oh yeah, right. I have finally set up a. I am going to try to stick to a schedule for streaming. And I'll be streaming on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then weekends will be specialties if I ever feel one night or if I just feel like it. But for the consistent ones, it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. CDT. And did I cover everything? Yes, I think I did. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the VOD or the live stream. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday when we will. I may have scheduled it for writing, but we're probably gonna do something else on on Wednesday. But on Friday we will return to writing Hidden Class Jolt Chapter 6. Okay, that's all. Thank you, and goodbye.